It was really good, which is a relief because Peanuts is one of those things that like a big budget Hollywood movie could completely fucking ruin. And they didn't. They really captured the spirit of Peanuts. That's the episode. No. What do you guys think of it?
Same. It was, like, from start to finish, it felt like a Peanuts thing, and, like, part of me was like, oh, I guess they're just literally gonna shove every single Peanuts bit in here, but then I think back, but then I thought back to, like, every piece of Peanuts media I watched. It's basically like a really proto-Phineas and Ferb unintentionally. They just did the same shit all the time, and everybody loves it, and I love it. So, great. It was really great, and it just... Like, it's been so long since I've seen anything Peanuts, like, even read any comics or anything, that, like, it was, like, it's such a simple, it's so simple, and yet you remember every character, and you remember what their deal is, except for, like, I don't know, the other Patty, and what's-her-face.
Yeah.
You know.
Violet.
That one kid that dances like that. Yeah, the time-honored, beloved
the two other girls that were shitty to Charlie Brown.
Everybody below Pigpen on the totem pole.
I did some Peanuts research, and apparently the other Patty, Violet, and Shermie, that kid,
what?
were originally the main characters when the strip first started. And then Schultz wrote more interesting characters.
Oh.
Like, I guess these kids are still here. I don't know.
That's the saddest. I'm so glad they're not real.
Like, the first comic strip is Shermie sitting with,
this.
like, Patty, not Peppermint Patty, just normal, boring Patty.
We'll call Peppermint Patty Peepats.
On a curb and being like, oh, here comes Charlie Brown. Good old Charlie Brown. Regular, cool kid Charlie Brown. And then once Charlie Brown walks past, he's like, I hate that guy.
I think I've seen that. Wow,
that's the first one. That back when it was called Little Folks.
Aww.
Yeah, Schultz always hated the name Peanuts. That was the syndicate.
Yeah.
He's like, why is it fucking called this? I hate it.
Because they look like peanut people. They really do look like little peanuts.
Yeah. At least they didn't just call it Snoopy, like what every child calls it until they're like 7.
Well, they did in other countries.
Oh, they pulled a Baymax.
They cut to the point.
In other countries, it's called like Snoopy and Charlie Brown, the Peanuts movie, or the Adventures of Snoopy, or the Charlie Brown story, or whatever.
Snoopy has a cool life, but also look at this dumb
Snoopy
kid.
and some sad kids.
Yeah, Snoopy and his sad boy.
Snoopy and Charlie Brown has been marketed more than the Peanuts name, so like in other countries, they wouldn't know what the fuck that is. If you just call it a Peanuts movie and they're like, Peanuts?
Where's the legumes? I have been deceived.
But yeah, I really enjoyed it too from what I could enjoy of it.
Alright, tell us this tale, spin us this yarn.
Well, I don't know if we want to do this in the beginning or not.
I mean, I get it out of the way so you can talk about the flick.
Okay.
Unless, like, what's your reason for not wanting to drop it so soon?
I don't know, it's just extensive and it affects every single scene that I experienced. So, like...
Maybe we can use it to frame... Maybe we can frame the whole episode around your bad time.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I had a really, really bad time at the theater, you guys. I went to the matinee, which was a bad idea. Never go. But I had to because I had shit to do. Yeah. I couldn't just, like... You know, it was the best time for me to go. So I went with my friend, and we were all excited.
What day of the week?
Sunday. Again. Stupid. Don't do that. But again, I had to. We're busy people. We're in college. And we were all excited. We went in the theater. We found 2 seats next to each other. It was super crowded. It was stuffed with people and parents and whatever. And the whole film, nobody shut the fuck up. The noise never stopped, and there was activity, like, all around me, kids moving in every which way, parents talking to each other, phone flashlights, just shit everywhere. It was so hard to focus. And the worst thing that happened at the very end of the movie, which I'll talk about when we get to that scene. But it was probably the worst experience I ever had watching a movie in the theaters. It was like impossible to enjoy myself, even though the film was so pleasant and lovely otherwise.
That's awful.
It was the worst.
I had the exact opposite, because I went at 4:30 in the afternoon on a Tuesday. So it was just me and a mother and daughter, and they left 10 minutes before the movie was over. And, like, the little kid didn't even seem disappointed about it, but she seemed a little too old to not be able to want to see the rest of the film, so that's just going to be a mystery I'll have until I die.
No, the thing is, they don't go to the movies because they want to see the movie. It's just something to do.
That's...
Like, everybody in that theater, nobody was really interested in the movie. It was just something to occupy
movies
their
are so
time
expensive! Don't do that! Go eat food! Go eat a food! Go play mini golf! I don't know! Holy shit!
There's no mini golf in New York City.
I don't know. There's mini golf. Like,
is there?
I can go drive there right now. I'll be there in 20 minutes. I guess.
What a colossal waste of real estate.
I mean, like, what else are you gonna do? You live in the city and you have a bunch of kids and you have to entertain them.
Get them a 2DS.
But you want to leave the house. I don't know.
Go get him a 3DS so it'll fold.
It was awful. The age of cinema in the theaters has died, my friends, and it's never coming back.
I feel like children's movies, like I think they've always been like that. Because you're right.
But there were kids there who weren't just like 3 and 4. They were like, like 8 or 7-year-old kids. And when I was that age, and I asked my parents to take me to see a movie, because we didn't get to go to the movies that often. We'd have to pick the ones we wanted to watch the most.
Yeah, me too.
I was paying attention the whole time.
Yeah,
because I wanted to see the movie.
Me too.
These kids don't even give a fuck.
God.
They're like, the one kid was so bored, they kept nagging their mom, "Can I play the games on your phone? I'm bored." And it's like, why are you here?
Yeah, that's on the parents. Dude, don't bring your child to a movie if they're not gonna watch it. Like, don't waste the time, don't waste the gas. I don't give a shit.
So just keep that in mind, because that unfortunately colored my experience for this film.
My experience was great. There was just one other family there, and they showed up maybe 5 to 10 minutes in. So I went with my mom and my baby sister, and she's 17. But all right. But they weren't there nobody else was there for the trailer. So Lucy and I just got to fucking riff over that's my favorite part about going to the movies, is riffing over the trailers.
Were awful.
Yeah,
none of those movies looked good.
Well, no, they played Kung Fu Panda 3 trailer and Good Dinosaur trailer, and the trailer for The Secret Life of Pets. I don't know if that movie is going to be any good, but that is a great trailer because it works as a short film.
Yeah,
that's
like
true.
That trailer really felt like if that was just the movie, that would have been fine. If that was the short instead of Scrat Goes to Space,
the short sucked.
Okay, so I haven't even seen Ice Age 1, but
really?
Like I know
it's
enough.
Very touching.
I know enough of it. Wait, I think I have, but I saw it forever ago. I don't even remember. But anyway, that's as far as my knowledge of it goes. So when he first uncovered, when I first see it, I'm like, oh, I didn't even know they were still making these. It's another Scratch short. He's gonna do funny things with the nut. It's gonna be slapsticky. It's gonna be cool. And then the spaceship shows up, and I was just like, where has this franchise gone since I last checked up on it? Like, look, it is now, thanks to this short. This is what I took from it. Thanks to this short, it is now canonical. It is canon in the Ice Age universe that Scrat created fucking Jupiter's red spot. He did that.
The astronomy behind that, it doesn't make any sense, because it's claimed that life started on Earth, complex life, before the solar system fully settled in. No.
Yeah, he knocked the planets into orbit after the Earth had already been around for millions of years.
Also, John Leguizamo the Sloth got hit by a meteor, and he's fine.
Now
Good
they
old
also
Johnny
played the
Legs.
Ratchet. They also played the Ratchet and Clank trailer, and
not for me.
Did they play that for you, Tooch?
Yes, they did.
No, they played the Angry Birds trailer.
The Angry Birds trailer was excruciating.
And then another one that was even more excruciating.
Was it Chipmunks 4?
There was Chipmunks 4, but there was another one too, I think, instead of Ratchet and Clank, that was just... It had it had like Madagascar type animals, polar bears.
Oh, the polar bear movie. Yeah. I was on my phone for that one. I don't know what that one was about.
It's about nothing.
Okay.
I didn't get that one. The Ratchet and Clank movie, because we've talked about that, because it's interesting that they're making that movie now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It looks okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks like there's really not going to be anything super special about it, except there's a cute little robot in it. But it looks like it'll be very functional. I just don't know what the audience is.
Ratchet and Clank fans?
Yeah.
But it's like a kids movie though.
Random kids whose parents just take them to the movies 'cause whatever.
I guess.
Yeah.
That's why these movies make so much money.
Yeah.
God, you're right.
It's nothing to do with the quality of the film. It's just parents are just like, oh, it's a new kids movie. Let's go.
I'm gonna like, finally, my child is socially obligated to sit in one fucking spot for 90 minutes. That's all I want.
So yeah, Peanuts movie though.
Yeah.
I think what it seems like their goal was, and if this was their goal, they really nailed it, was to encapsulate kind of all of the major themes and also set pieces of Peanuts. Name mostly those revolving around Charlie Brown's self-esteem issues and also Snoopy's imagination adventures.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it very much was. Like, the film was sort of released as like a, you know, it's the first feature film they've made of the Peanuts in 35 years, so it's the anniversary of that. It was also the 65th anniversary of the comic strip, and the 50th anniversary of the first TV special, Charlie Brown Christmas.
Wow, they're on point with releasing stuff on this anniversary.
Yeah, so they're very much celebrating the legacy of Peanuts. And one of the reasons why the quality was so top-notch was because these weren't just some Joe Schmoes working on this film. We got family involved. Schultz's son, Craig, he came up with the idea for the film back in 2006, only 6 years after his dad died. Which I didn't know that Schultz wrote the comic until the year 2000. I thought he stopped way before then. He didn't.
Dang.
He died the day before the last strip was published.
I remember that. Yeah, he retired with a couple of backlogs because it's newspaper. You have to work ahead. He retired and then died almost immediately, like Jefferson or some shit.
Yeah, I'm because he started in 50 whatever, right?
Or El Santo, which is also the same thing.
Yeah. Much better reference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
for El Santo, it was about a year, but here's the thing about El Santo is he went on this Mexican talk show and nobody knew he was going to do this. He took his mask off for the first time ever on a public appearance. That's a way to say goodbye to his fans. Week later, dead in the ground.
God.
Whoa.
Super saddest fucking thing.
Whoa. El Santo's the best.
Yeah. El Santo and Fry Tormenta are the best luchadors.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Fry Tormenta some other time.
Okay. He'll get his due. Don't worry, luchador fans. So yeah, Craig Schultz came up with the idea. And his son, Brian Schultz, happened to be a screenwriter. So he's like, hey, son, I want to make this movie about my dad's legacy, and you actually know how to make plots. So, how do I,
I just want credit and money? That's me. He probably did some real work.
I was so happy to show it to my son. He showed me how to make it bigger, how to blow it up more. He helped me put it in structure. So they started pitching it to studios. And of course, Craig was like, I need to have, it has to be under full, Schultz control. The Schultz family name needs to be the people who are making the big decisions about all this stuff. Absolute quality control. No, nobody else gets to decide this kind of stuff.
I don't want some executive in some big chair on the 40th floor talking on the phone through a secretary being like, tell my people to tell your people we gotta make it sexier.
Because Craig knows that his dad's ghost would haunt him if he fucked this up. So he was like, nah, I gotta do it. So, after shopping around and, 6 years later in 2012, it was announced that Blue Sky Studios is going to be developing the film, 3D animation. And Steve Martino was directed it based on the screenplay that Craig and Brian Schultz put together, which they also produced the film. The interesting little tidbit here, though, is that they chose Martino themselves, quote, because they thought he showed faithfulness to literature in his adaptation of Dr. Seuss's Horton Hears a Who.
Oh, yeah, I mean, from page to screen, don't you know?
And I'm like, he starts off saying, I'm more protective of the comic strip than, like, anyone else. And then he's like, oh, this guy did a great job adopting Dr. I can't speak because if you remember Horton Hears a Who, there was that whole fucking anime section for no reason.
I didn't
remember that.
I didn't see the movie. I just remember. All I remember is the emo Who.
Yeah, there was the emo Who for one thing, played by Aaron Carter.
DeviantArt liked that one.
Yeah. And there was this whole sequence for no reason when Jim Carrey Horton just fucking parodies all the Japan. just all of it.
Every Japan.
Just every Japan. And it's like, what is happening? I don't know what you see, Craig, but
It worked. Thank God it worked.
Somehow it worked. So
maybe the director was just like, wow, this guy's reasons for hiring me is dumb. I don't want to take advantage of him. I feel bad. I'm going to do a good job this time.
But no, Martino really seems to understand like what the deal is. He says on the film's plot, here's where I lean thematically. I want to go through this journey. Charlie Brown is that guy who, in the face of repeated failure, picks himself back up and tries again. That's no small task. I have kids who aspire to be something big and great, a star football player on Broadway. I think what Charlie Brown is, what I hope to show in this film, is the everyday qualities of perseverance, to pick yourself back up with a positive attitude that's every bit as heroic as having a star on the Walk of Fame or being a star on Broadway. That's the story's core.
That definitely shone through. That was definitely I immediately got the point there. What the movie is about.
And one thing I really loved about it is that I didn't know if people still were interested in stories about characters like Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
Because, most modern everything, right? Like, you don't like to see your characters in fiction, fail over and over and over again. People don't like those kind of wishy-washy characters that don't know what they're doing with their life. People motivated characters with agency and goals and are driven and have this whole backstory and all this crap. That's what people really resonate with. And when you take a show or something with just characters who are just I don't know, I don't know.
A character who completely sucks.
Yes.
I feel like modern TV dramas get it the worst because you always hear all the popular TV, everybody's least favorite character, all their I never watch the shows, but I hear people yelling about it, and their least favorite character, their complaint is always I hate them, they don't do anything, they're always fucking up.
Exactly, they don't even want anything.
They need to get out of the way so the cool white man can do more cool white man things that I like to see.
Yeah, that's part of it, but also
how come they haven't died instead of every woman?
Yeah, definitely there's race and gender things going on as well, but it's also just this idea that the character, if they're not motivated, they're pointless. Why am I watching this person flounder about like an idiot? And it's because it's life.
Yeah.
Because that's what it means to be alive.
Because that's what you're doing every day.
Yeah, and it's I guess people want that escapist fantasy, but
I do too,
but some people come from this strong writing perspective where it's your character has to have motivation. If your character doesn't have motivation, why the fuck should I care? And it's because they're a person.
I think how Peanuts was able to run for 50 years without despite the fact that its main character is a man who fucked up every day for 50 years. is that there was also other shit. I think it was balanced with the Snoopy stuff. The Snoopy stuff is a lot more of like what we were talking about. It's a cute dog who has fun imagination adventures, and he's like, Snoopy kicks ass. Snoopy gets shit done.
He's cool.
But he actually, well,
the only thing Snoopy's bad is going to school, which no one wants to do.
That's actually the craziest thing about this movie is the idea that a bunch of elementary school kids would get mad at a dog who tried to go into school, right? As if that wouldn't be the best day of their miserable little lives.
Well, Snoopy's not a regular dog.
No, like Snoopy, like
he's kind of a pain in the ass.
These kids are horrendously aware of how human Snoopy is. He's just like that annoying friend that no one invited.
Pretty much.
Yeah, but. And even, as Snoopy, as a very capable guy, Snoopy got, his dick knocked in the dirt all the time, too. Like,
yeah, he got his comeuppance.
That's kind of the goof between Joe Cool, is that he's, like, trying his hardest to be cool, but kind of nobody cares.
No, because he's a dog. Everyone's like, what are you doing, dog? You wearing that shirt? You can't even read that, probably.
He can
trying to write a novel.
I love the bit with the typewriter when they're figuring out how it works, and they just type a bunch of O's, and both Snoopy and Woodstock are like, "Oh!"
Yeah, this movie works simultaneously as like a Peanuts origin movie and also a Peanuts finale.
Yeah, it really does.
You watch it, read every comic and watch all the specials, and then watch it again.
Yeah.
It's like The Wall.
Yes, I was about to say it's exactly like The Wall. That's exactly what I was about to drop on you, fool.
The cool thing about Snoopy and Woodstock in this movie is that they are played by Bill Melendez, from archival recordings. Because they had enough archival recordings of Snoopy and Woodstock noises.
We don't need new sounds. They only make 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been dead for 7 years. Yeah, like I always knew Bill Melendez was like the guy who was responsible for all those Peanut specials and everything.
Yeah, he was the only person that Schultz trusted to adapt his comics.
They were so great too.
Because his comics are kind of hard to convert to animation because his lines aren't crisp. They're squiggly and uneven, and they don't have any standard way that they're
you
drawn.
gotta know what you're doing.
Yeah. And this film, the visuals of this film, I think are absolutely gorgeous, and I think they did an amazing job.
They blow me away, but it's like it's that new it's like that. Basically, everything good CG is doing this kind of thing, where it's like they're sticking to a cartoony style in terms of the art design and character design, but all the textures are basically real life. So it's kind of like that whole like. I noticed it in two ways. Only twice was I brought out of it. Otherwise, I loved it. It's amazing and beautiful, and I'm not even complaining. I just think that I noticed it. Everybody's hair is like impossible hair, but it's real hair. So every time it was like a close up on Charlie Brown, I just kept staring at his like little squiggle and just being really uncomfortable for a split second. And
this Linus's hair I thought was kind of
that
weird.
too. But Linus isn't in all that much. And then Snoopy's dog nose is just a perfect oval, but it's absolutely a dog nose texture. And I was like, oh.
That was interesting.
So I love it, but it's like, uncanny valley a little bit.
So yeah, Martino and his animators spent over a year just studying Schultz's original drawings to try to capture that style because, his style it's hand drawn and it looks hand drawn and it feels hand drawn.
Sounds like the best year. Can I have that year?
And trying to capture that with like the precision of like CGI is like really kind of intimidating, right? He says things like how the dot of the eye conveyed joy or sorrow so efficiently.
Yeah.
Because everything was kind of janky looking, it was very emotional.
God,
and so like good. Converting that to film is hard. So it took them a while to figure it out.
Yeah, I noticed that too. You can't just have like you can't just have a stable single eye blob shape. Like everything's constantly changing. Like, not even necessarily moving, but from shot to shot, like, everyone's still on model, but they're almost so on model that any change is so subtle, but it's so important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they sort of achieved it by, keeping some things 2D, like the faces themselves, like the squiggly lines on the faces.
Yeah.
They slowed down the frame rate.
I did notice that. That was a really good touch.
And made it look like stop motion sometimes.
Yeah.
It also looked kind of like cell shading in video games like Wind Waker, where it's like clearly like a flat texture on a model, because it's like the closest thing they could, like, they can't actually like model out the eyes. That wouldn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
They can't like give like super like detailed skin on the characters. Like, that would be weird.
Yeah, so it came off more like clay, like.
Yeah, or plasticine, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they animated a stop motion movie.
Kind of, yeah. And like, and then, trying to maintain like the style, like the profile of the head, and like Snoopy, everything about Snoopy
doesn't make any fucking sense
in 3D, so they had to do a lot of like just quick shortcuts of like not showing the full animation of turning the heads, because
you can't.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
You can't. But you know what? Fuck it. Mickey Mouse's ears are always in profile. You can do whatever you want. That's what I say.
Another person who... Sorry.
I mean, they've done Mickey in CGI. I wonder...
Yeah,
how
the ears are still in profile. They just stay there.
Yeah, they do basically the same thing where they fudge it.
It's like the top of his head is a compass, and it doesn't rotate as he does.
But he's never gotten lost a day in his life. One time I saw like original Walt Disney. Like, did you reblog it, Nina? There was like a Walt Disney sketch of like his original character rotation, and it had like 3 like front, side, and then it had a point of view shot, like a bird's eye view, and it was the first time I'd ever fucking seen his ears from a different angle, and it freaked me out.
Maybe.
I don't know.
It was before they were always spherical.
No, but no, because they were still like he from the jump. He always had them in profile, no matter which way he was facing, except for, I guess, when you're looking at him from above, because you even can't fudge that. So it was like 2 lines, and I was like, that does not look like Mickey Mouse anymore.
You barfed on your keyboard immediately.
Yeah, just God, it's like hearing Cthulhu's real name.
It's like, I mean, like Snoopy, like when he does that happy dance thing he does, it's like, what is going on with his head?
Everything. His ears are all over the place. His mouth is just...
so cute, but it's like, what?
I love when Snoopy's eyes get weird, like when he's like looking down, like when his whole head is like when his head is down and his eyes are looking up at you. It's like
when there's like 4 circles around, half circles around his eyes, or when he looks like he just saw all of the ghosts.
When he's doing that vulture pose or whatever, when he's like crooning his whole freaking hooking his whole head into a hook shape, swiping a cupcake.
Another cool thing about this film is they sort of preserve the whatever time period Peanuts takes place in, because it took place over a 50-year period.
50s-ish.
Yeah, so,
50s-ish.
Typewriters, cord phones, psychiatrist is still 5 cents, and they kept the wah-wah voices of the trumpet, or the trombone, with the plunger mute, played by Trombone Shorty in this iteration, carrying on that classic tradition.
My new rap name.
Yeah, Troy Trombone Shorty Andrews.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a dope name.
He's a cool guy. He's a New Orleans-based jazz musician. You should check him out. But yeah, they kept all this, the wall, that random wall, wherever it was.
Oh yeah.
The skating pond.
The kite-eating tree.
The kite-eating tree, which I don't think I saw any of the specials that included the Charlie Brown's kite.
I recall it.
I don't remember those in animation, but I do definitely remember those.
I remember
those
it
comics.
because I at least I have a vivid memory of the tree being animate and like chewing on his fucking kite. That might just be me making that up or getting it from someplace else, but I could have sworn.
Some like Mall of America or someplace, they had like a Peanuts kind of small amusement park, and they had like a kite-eating tree.
Oh. Could you feed it kites?
No, I think it was like that swing ride where it's swings.
Man, I want to feed a kite to a tree.
And 1 out of every 12 kids just gets sucked in.
Yeah.
Like their swing just retracts.
And then I guess the other thing about this film that was a little bit different was the soundtrack. They did have some of the the classic jazz numbers by Vince Guaraldi, but they were sort of redubbed. The composer was a guy named Christoph Beck, and I don't know. I felt like they softened the jazz too much.
Yeah, there wasn't enough of it.
They didn't go whole hog with it, and then they added a lot of more poppy songs.
I did appreciate that the poppy songs were pretty just innocuous, like they were just there, and they did their job. It wasn't like
the poppy songs weren't offensive or anything. It was just
there wasn't any top 40 songs on there, which every other kids movie loves to do.
Yeah, it was Meghan Trainor wrote.
Yeah, she made the White Girl Butt song, right?
What? The what?
The White Girl Butt song.
Yes, bass.
Oh! Dang. Well...
No trouble.
So this is a good thing she did instead?
I
don't like that.
It makes me feel less guilty for being born the way I am. Yeah, I mean, they're cute little songs. They're fine.
Yeah, I like them.
But, I don't know, I would have preferred more of that, the original stuff.
The extremely good jazz.
And just louder, too. Like, the
anything to drown out those fucking kids!
Yeah, like, the famous song, Linus and Lucy, which is the do-do-do-do, that song.
Yeah.
That's the best one.
When they play that song in, like, the Halloween special, it is just blaring. Like, it is so loud.
It's actually really poorly mixed, but that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, here it was very, like, understated. Like, I was like...
I remember one time as a kid I watched like a half hour of the Weather Channel because that song was on their playlist for the Weather Channel.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to hear it because I didn't want to. I caught the tail end of it, like flicking through the channels, and I was like, "The fuck? What? Huh? What? Peanuts? Hey, I'm doing this now. This is my day now."
And it did open with Skating, which is the that song from the Christmas special. That was really nice. That
I know what you're talking about now. Not that your acapella wasn't flawless, but I know what you're talking about now. I remember.
Yeah. And then they just fucking like straight up took Christmas Time Is Here. Like they didn't even re-record it. They just used the archival sound and just plugged it in that one scene.
If it was re-recorded, I probably would have like my brain would have tripped on itself probably.
I mean, how can you get kids to sing any higher?
Also, there's only ever been the one. There's only been that one cover of it. Have there been covers of it? God, I hope not.
I don't know. Let me see what Wikipedia
has to
say.
No. A ton.
Because there's been a lot of covers of the other songs.
You can't.
Oh,
well, Steve Vai did one? Maybe
I don't
that's
know
okay.
any of these people, though. I don't know.
Chicago? Kenny Loggins?
Sarah McLachlan.
Mariah Carey. This one's bad. John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John. I bet that's terrible.
Anita Baker.
Okay, so I guess what I meant was like, has there been other like Peanuts?
Oh my God,
things
Mariah
that have done
Carey.
like the kid chorus?
Can you imagine Mariah Carey's version? It's making me laugh just thinking of it. Oh, I need to listen to it now this Christmas. Everybody find that and have joy. But by the by, the Charlie Brown Christmas album is like the best Christmas soundtrack ever. Like, find it, buy it, live it, love it. It's the best. Anywho, now we got all the like formal production stuff out of the way. We can just talk about the film itself.
Yeah. How did you guys feel about the length? Because I'm pretty sure this is the longest Peanuts thing ever. At the very least, all the famous, I guess the other famous Charlie Brown thing being the Charlie Brown Christmas, and that's only like 25
Charlie Brown
minutes.
has had 4 other full-length theatrical releases.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah,
the first one was A Boy Named Charlie Brown. How long was that one?
86 minutes.
86, so yeah, that was shorter. One was like Bon Voyage, Charlie Brown.
Don't come back!
don't come back.
I remember all of these, but it's like they didn't stick in my mind that much.
I don't think I saw the feature-length ones.
I think I might have caught them like once on Cartoon Network's Cartoon Theater. Was the one where they went to summer camp and raced on a boat? Wait, was Race for Your Life Charlie Brown feature length?
Yes, Race for Your Life Charlie Brown was 77.
Wow. But even then, that's not that long.
And then before then, it was Snoopy Come Home, which was 72.
Right, but this is 93 minutes. This is a full feature length long film, and like it, I didn't feel it that much. But after once I was into the third act, I was like, this is the longest I've sat down and watched an uninterrupted Peanuts thing in a long time.
That's very true. I mean,
it wasn't to its detriment. It was interesting. It was a different feeling.
I mean, I was entering a different dimension by that point because my focus was just completely off the walls. But yeah, it did feel pretty long.
But again, it wasn't a bad thing.
Yeah, I felt like it worked.
I feel like they were towing that line though, because again, you can't, because what a lot of bad movies will do when they're based on based on even good stuff does this. They'll crank. They got to take it and then they got to crank it to 11 because we got 90 minutes now instead of 20 minutes because usually it's based off of like a TV show or something. And it's like we gotta make it big. The stakes have never been higher. It's like basically recess school's out. But that was
in
good.
a way they did do that with the Snoopy stuff though.
Yeah, I
guess, but he's always fighting the Red Baron.
Well, what they did is they finally visualized what Snoopy was always imagining.
I guess.
Because before it was just Snoopy sitting on top of his doghouse with some colored lights and some sound effects and a narration.
You know what? I never even realized that because I was right there with Snoopy.
Yeah, I mean, it was very engrossing as a kid.
Yeah, so
oh my God, what's gonna happen?
That's not even a goof. You telling me this is like new information in my brain. I didn't even realize that this was the first time we've seen what Snoopy was all about. I didn't even realize.
It was really amazing. It was like a child's dream come true. It was like, this is amazing.
Dang.
There's a whole world.
I wish my imagination wasn't so dope. I didn't even appreciate it.
Yeah, because if they were gonna do that kind of thing, this is the only place in the movie to do it. Because this is what the Snoopy stuff had always been. It had always been about like this kind of big imagination coming from some little schmuck.
And like honestly, his story was almost framed or like thematic. It was almost framed around Charlie Brown's story. It was almost it was
most certainly framed.
Yeah,
he got the inspiration to start writing it.
It was like in the Watchmen comic books when they kept going back to the pirates.
You snatched that from me, so now we're even.
Yeah, great. Balance has been restored.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually seen a World War I movie that had basically the exact same plot.
It was just cool to see, because, as a kid, I don't know what World War I looked like, so I just had to imagine it.
It's mostly sad.
I knew about the sad part. Snoopy made it seem super adventurous.
Snoopy is the only being that got anything out of World War I.
I mean, the dogfights out of World War I are the most cinematic. You can get the most movie shit out of that because everything else was just people dying of mud poisoning in a hole.
Yeah.
Whereas,
the only good thing is everybody that came out of it became really good writers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Anybody who didn't die in a hole.
Yeah.
It's whenever A Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown came on, we would watch it every year because of course we did. And it came to that scene, and I'd have to ask my dad, what is happening?
What's he doing?
And he'd explain to me, he's a pilot in the war, especially when he crashes and he's, on enemy lines, and I'm like, why is he being all sneaky? I don't get it. What's war, Daddy?
Yeah. There was a weird thing where, in the last act of his story, where he was still sneaking around in the actual town, but it was a story he was writing, and
it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Those cutaways were great. And Peppermint Patty just being like, Chuck, your dog is at my house again.
I love Peppermint Patty. I like this movie made me just remember how great some of the characters are, and it's really all the best characters, all the girls are the best characters, and that's not even me trying to say that, it's fact.
I mean, there was a satisfactory amount of Peppermint Patty and Marcy. Who there wasn't enough of was Linus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was very disappointed in the lack of Linus.
Yeah, Linus is the best dude in Peanut, easily. Like, who else
has a personality? Everyone else is just kind of like...
Franklin was very important for the time, but now he's just like a capable kid who's there.
Yeah.
He's just a nice boy.
Linus had my favorite line in the movie, and I can't remember the exact wording, but it's in the third act when they're doing the wall slump thing on the, in the last day of school. He says something to Charlie Brown that's like, Charlie Brown, why is it so impossible for you to imagine that maybe somebody actually likes you?
Yeah.
And that was directed at me.
And me. And everyone.
Like in
every
the theater,
millennial, at least.
Like in the theater, I just went, woof.
Yeah, that's when I realized, I was like, shit, Charlie Brown was the original millennial. But he was born like 50 years too soon.
God, this generation would get him.
Yeah, he would fit right in with us, fuckers.
I mean, that's part of the thing with Charlie Brown, with Peanuts as a whole. Is like, as a kid, you get into it for Snoopy. All these other kids, who cares? What are they doing? Who the hell is Beethoven?
I thought Linus was funny as a kid with his blankie. And...
The blanket stuff, yeah. The blanket stuff was good, but a lot of that, was also based off of, like, slapstick with Snoopy. And, like,
Snoopy just pulling on it like an ass hat.
Yeah, and a lot of, how you get into caring about the other characters is how they interact with Snoopy. Lucy with the dog germ thing, which they quoted that verbatim from Christmas Special. Or like Charlie Brown. Like, my favorite Peanuts classic bit that they didn't do in this movie was him knocking on the door by just angrily kicking it, and then Charlie Brown would open and get kicked in the shins.
That was for feeding time, yeah.
Yeah. So that's how you got into all these other characters, and then when you grow up, you read it. It's like, oh, this is about a character who is hopelessly depressed and living in a town of people who hate him.
Yeah,
for being
who
depressed,
just barely tolerate him, but they all hang out anyway because they have to. Like, there's only so many 50s. Kids.
Yeah.
Because like the thing is that they get that he's a sad boy, but he's so his depression is exhausting to people around him.
Yeah. Like, my friend that I went with, she was like, man, it's been a long time since I watched Charlie Brown, and, like, I remember why I used to get frustrated, because he's so frustrating to watch, because a lot of his problems are his own folly.
Yeah.
His inability to act like a normal human being.
The only thing that gave me, like, frickin' that made me, like, squirm in my seat was, like, the first and second acts of all of his non-interactions with the little redhead girl. I was just like, Charlie, you're being the worst right now. Just staring at this girl in her home. She's in her home, Charlie. Stop. I guess it's okay because it's like you're like a small child. You can't even conceive of anything awful to do. You're an innocent boy. You're just dumb. But
he's just like, oh, she likes dancing. She's so great.
She chews on shit too.
Well, that happened in the comics too. Like, she also chews on shit.
Just like the word, just like finding every reason under the sun to think she's perfect.
I thought that was so adorable though. Like, she also has a nervous habit like me.
Yeah.
Yay!
She's flawed.
Hooray for me!
And that did make the ending interesting. And like, maybe this is awful. Just bring up the ending now. Maybe we keep going. I don't know. But like, I liked the ending. But I also think they could have gone the opposite direction and made it fine.
Yeah, they could have gone in a couple directions, because it felt like the catharsis that the series never wanted to give us, and it's like, and on one hand you could say it's kind of corny and it's like it's a little too heavy-handed, and Schultz would never just like outright say this stuff. It's all about being implied, but sometimes it's just like, after 50 whatever years.
65 years.
65 years.
You know what?
Can't we just say it, like, in words? Like, let's just say it. Like, when else are we going to get that chance? We all know it. Let's just say it.
This movie took almost a decade to make. Just give him the redhead girl. Yeah. There was actually a special in '77 called "It's Your First Kiss," Charlie Brown, where he did, like, get to peck her on the cheek or whatever, and, Schultz wrote it and declared it non-canon.
Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, she's based on a woman that Schultz worked with, who's, I guess, really nice. And I guess they had a relationship or whatever, like, kind of, I don't know. And he proposed to her, and she turned him down because she was already going to marry another dude.
Oof.
And he carried it for the... And they still remained friends, but he, like, kept it for the rest of his life. There's a beautiful, sad quote, because, you know, Schultz was a sad, sad man, if you know. Oh my god, he was so sad all the time. He says, I can think of no more emotionally damaging a loss than to be turned down by someone whom you love very much. A person who not only turns you down, but almost immediately will marry the victor. What a bitter blow that is.
God.
And
they're
the little
friends?
redheaded girl around. Yeah, he says that they're friends. Her name is Donna Johnson.
Donna Mae Johnson.
I just picture him being like proposing, and then she's like, no, and he's just like, oh, you want to hang out later? Like, maybe because he's so Charlie Brown, maybe he was just like, oh, of course, you said no. That's fine. I expected that. Had to give it a shot.
I mean, they were in the same workplace. They were like workplace friends.
Also, maybe it was like a old-timey thing. Maybe it was like, just like, oh, hey, we're cool and opposite gender. Do you want to try it? 'Cause that's all you needed to be back then.
Well, they dated for 3 years.
Oh, well then, yeah. Okay, then.
But then in 1950, when he proposed, she said she was already engaged.
Huh.
Part of that's on her.
I mean, it was the times, I guess. I don't know. Most of the sad things that happened to Charlie Brown happened because Schultz had a sad... He was a sad man.
Poor little sad boy. Sad man drawing sad boys.
Sad man drawing his sad boy self.
Did he have?
And how sad he was.
Did he have a cool dog? I know it wasn't a beagle.
He did have a dog. He had his name was Sniffy.
Was he a beagle? Because I know if it was a beagle, he didn't base the design off of that beagle.
I don't think he knew what a beagle looked like.
He named the dog Snoopy because his mom
He didn't want to pay the dog for character rights.
Well, they had a dog named Sniffy, and he was originally going to... Snoopy's name was Sniffy, but I guess there was another comic character at the time named Sniffy, and it was like a copyright thing, so he changed the name, and he remembered that his mom said growing up if they ever got another dog, they would name it Snoopy. So he's like, okay.
Those are both great names for dogs.
Dude,
obviously, like, you can't name a dog Snoopy now, you hack little kid, but...
Name it Sniffy and make it a deep cut.
Sniffy's a great name.
It's adorable. Hey, Sniffy!
Also, apparently Charles Schultz's nickname was Sparky?
Yeah, Sparky.
So Sparky,
I knew that.
Sniffy, and Snoopy.
I don't remember why his nickname was Sparky.
His uncle called him Sparky after the horse Sparkplug in the comic strip Barney Google.
Oh, it was his favorite comic. That actually appears in that's the comic that Charlie Brown shows to Violet, like, you should read this, it's a classic.
Oh, Barney Google and Snuffy Smith.
Yeah.
Did he name his dog after the... What? Oh, this goes down. This is layered.
Yeah, I mean, everything about the Peanuts is tied to Schultz's life. Like, everything.
Yeah,
we could
apparently
sit here for hours
women were mean to him his whole life. It was terrible to him.
Yeah, like, I mean, you know, Lucy's based on his wife. He did marry.
Oh, that's the best. I love it, because Lucy's the best one.
Is it the best, though?
Yes! I love Lucy.
Oh, man. Oh, Lucy.
Yeah, Jeannie Schultz, who still manages a lot of his estate in, like, the Schultz Museum and everything.
God, Lucy absolutely would.
She didn't appear to have any involvement in this film, though. It was a Craig and Brian Schultz.
Well, no, actually, I'm mistaken. She was modeled after his first wife, Joyce Halverson, not Jeannie Schultz.
Okay, his first wife. Because Jeannie sounds like a nice lady for taking care of all that stuff.
This movie made me remember how great Lucy was. I didn't appreciate Lucy as a kid.
As a kid, as a kid, Lucy's kind of upsetting because she's so ruthlessly mean.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't, like, I didn't even consider her mean as a kid. I just, like, oh, this is a character. She's got her bits and her tropes and her things.
No, I thought she was horrible.
Of course.
But it did make me...
Nina, you feel bad for every fictional character.
That's why I have so many problems. But it did make me remember that as a child of that age, I was somewhere in between a Lucy Van Pelt and a Charlie Brown.
Oh, wow.
Personality-wise.
Oh, God. That's unstable.
The more I think about it, I was like, oh, wow. I really was kind of shitty sometimes. But it's... These characters are just so fun to watch. Like, even though you know their shtick already, like Schroeder doing the 20th Century Fox thing in the beginning, it's just like... It's like, tee-hee-hee, like, like, I'm so happy. I don't know.
Yeah, it's and I like. I was waiting for the football bit when I realized they hadn't done it yet, and I'm glad they saved it for post credits because, like, when it happened, I was like, yes, like aloud in the theater to no one.
Football was my least favorite bit because it was just.
It's honestly like I had no.
I mean, it's so true to life. It's just too hard to swallow as a young person.
I had no special love for it, but the fact that they were doing every single bit and then they didn't do the football, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, where's the football? Are they not going to do the football? And they did it, and I was like, oh God, thank God. I thought I was going to have a bad point about this film that they didn't do the football. They did everything else except the football. Come on.
And all the characters were voiced by children as well.
Yeah.
Though they were, older children than the ones that they got for the original specials. So they did try to direct them to make them sound stilted and awkward as possible.
The kid who played Linus nailed that.
Oh, yeah.
The kid who played Peppermint Patty, I thought that was Olivia Olson.
Yeah, me too!
Who was Peppermint Patty?
Venus Omega Schultheis. You can tell these... Yeah, you can tell these are all...
Children.
Children who were born in the last 10 years, because some of their names are terrible.
Hadley, Micah, Noah, Venus, Meryl?
Mariel. Madison with a Y. Another Noah.
Oh, God.
Anastasia.
Did you know that one of the earliest gigs for a certain pop star called Fergie was voicing Sally in two Peanuts TV films?
Yes, I think I did know that.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of people,
remember that the original Sally was like 3 years old.
Oh God, that's a cat bug situation we have here.
Well, I don't know about that actually, but like, she was like nigh unintelligible. Like, that girl was trying really hard to.
Oh yeah, dude. Speaking of cat bug, I was watching the credits because I was waiting for more stuff to happen. And in, like, they did the voice cast, and then they had a big list of just, background vocal noise stuff. Frickin' little Sammy 11 and La Lasagna's in it.
Oh.
Oh, he was doing Walla?
Yeah. Yeah, he got
That's
in on
cool.
this film. It's good for him.
Good for
and speaking
him.
of people who played Sally, Kristen Chenoweth played Fifi. She won a Tony for playing Sally in the Broadway You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. And she's also the person who played one of the witches in Wicked. So like, so she's got she won a Tony.
She played the Good Witch.
Glinda, yeah. I don't know.
So many different kids have voiced these kids.
Popular one, one. I didn't know about Fifi beforehand. I thought that was an original character, but then I looked it up, and there was a Fifi, but the Fifi just looked like a poodle. It did not look like a Snoopy-fied dog. It looked like just a poodle lady. A lady poodle.
I'm glad they changed it, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it was cute. It was a deep cut, too. Like, I had no idea.
Yeah, who watched Life is a Circus, Charlie Brown?
Not me.
It won an Emmy.
Oh, I guess I should watch it then.
No.
I've been meaning to watch all the Charlie Brown shit.
Her eyes were a bit incongruous with everything else, but it was fine.
Yeah, her eyes were kind of weird. Yeah, I couldn't get used to that. But she was cute.
Yeah. Although I guess in this film she doesn't actually exist. Snoopy made her up for the book.
Yeah.
You know what was another thing that was super annoying as a kid, but now I get it, was Sally's crush on Linus. Like, obviously, he's the best.
Yeah. I always got it as a kid. He seemed like the coolest boy there. Even with his blankie. Because he's, like, sophisticated and, like, smart and, like, philosophical and shit.
He called World War I the Great War. Shut up, Linus.
I mean, it was the 50s. Maybe that's... Kids called it that back then.
But when Snoopy was typing his book, he called it World War I.
He didn't go to school. He got his
There's
pox
so many
clipped.
logical flaws with that defense, but let's move on.
I know.
This movie was fun.
This movie was very fun.
I liked all the and then I liked all the deep cuts, and then the other post credits thing at the end was with all of Snoopy's cousins or brothers or whatnot at the end. I forget Snoopy's extended family. I just know they exist.
I just know Spike.
Yeah, he is.
Spike's the really scraggly looking one. I did not know he had other siblings.
Spike,
no, he's like a couple of their siblings and one sister.
Spike, Andy, Olaf, Belle, Marbles, Molly, and Rover.
Yeah. I mean, Schultz introduced these guys, like, gradually over time. Like, rerun and stuff. Like, he was kind of late.
Oh, yeah, rerun Van Pelt.
Yeah. He wasn't in this movie. I mean, they had enough characters.
I mean, when Linus was first introduced, he was like a little baby. And then
a lot of these characters, when they were first introduced, were babies. Like, Schroeder was originally a toddler that Charlie Brown took care of.
Oh, God.
Like a father figure. And, like, he taught Schroeder, like, about Beethoven and about the piano. And then Schultz he would, like, introduce these characters as little kids, and then he would just age them up to everyone be around the same age, so they could be more on the same level with each other.
They're forever kids. They grow up, but then they stay that way.
Though Linus was always a couple years younger than Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
But they put him in the same school because...
He's so smart.
Yeah.
He moved up a grade.
Yeah. One thing I definitely want to talk about, or I think I want to talk about, is like one concern I had going in was that they were going to kind of ruin the mystique of the little redhead girl, and I think that they did not. I feel like, because like the thing in the comics, the little redhead girl is like this impossible goal that Charlie Brown acknowledges that he wants but makes no effort to achieve. So even in the comics,
he makes effort. He just makes really
crap efforts.
Yeah. He makes just enough efforts to feel like he can't blame himself, even though he absolutely should.
Yeah, I mean,
he blames himself all the time. It's Charlie Brown.
But she, in the comics, she was never a character. She was always a symbol, really encapsulating the core of Charlie Brown's personal failings. And she still is that in this movie. I was worried they were going to make her too much of a character. And normally I'd be like, you can't, like, introduce a woman and, like, make her be just a symbol and not her own person. But, like, for something like Peanuts, you gotta kind of keep it that way. And I feel, ultimately, like, at the end, the catharsis, the putting Peanuts to bed, that they did with that, work. The idea that, he's always seen her as, like, this impossible goal, but she was always just a dude. Just living her own goddamn life.
And I like how they kept the distance, too. Like, they're pen pals now. It's still a very indirect form of communication,
Yeah, he's not getting a smooch.
No, they can just be friends now.
No.
Maybe.
Yeah. See, the thing is, he didn't win her as a romantic prize. That's great that that's not what happened. What he won was something to acknowledge
qualities.
And respect and enjoy him being alive.
Yeah.
I actually think that was really well done.
Yeah.
One thing that was not well done, though, right up to that scene, was that whole chase sequence where he's trying to get to the bus is fucking riddled with continuity errors.
Well, yeah, because there's only so many... Yeah, because you have... First, the kids are at the carnival. Then they're, like, getting ice cream, where they use the Mr. Softy theme. That was a nice touch.
Yeah.
And then they were in a parade, and then they were doing some other shit, like...
Well, the main thing, and, like, Lucy pointed this out as soon as it happened. Okay, so... He talks to her mom, and then he goes back to the carnival, and then when he's running towards the bus, you see him pass his own house. Mm-hmm. He lives across the street from her.
Yeah!
He went in a circle.
He went in a stupid circle.
He's not a smart boy.
He read War and Peace and wrote an essay about it in one weekend. He is a smart boy.
Yeah, that Linus said was one of the most articulate pieces of literary criticism he had ever read.
Lost to the world like the Library of Alexandria.
He can be a smart boy. That's the thing about Charlie Brown. He can be smart. He can be good at things. He just...
Yeah,
it's two things. He's dealt a shit hand. Mm-hmm. And he is too down on himself to make any kind of meaningful change.
Yeah, he has such low self-confidence and such bad luck. But he's actually not terrible in general.
Yeah.
Like, he actually can pull himself together and get shit done. And even in the comics, like, yes, he loses most of the time, but he does have his victories every once in a while. Even if they're small ones.
I forget what short it was. I know for a fact it was animated though, but I remember one time like Lucy was like, you know what, like, no, for real, I'm not gonna move the football, and she didn't, and Charlie Brown misses and like kicks her. And that was like the greatest moment of my life.
Well, I think like in the original comics it was Violet who did the football thing. And
I think it was Violet first.
Yeah, it was Violet first, and originally it was because she was afraid Charlie Brown was going to kick her, and then one time he did kick it, but he didn't kick it enough, so it just kind of toppled over.
Oh, shit.
She was holding onto it too hard, which might even be worse. I don't know. But yeah, that scene, I would love to share my opinions about how I felt about that scene. However, precisely at that moment, when Charlie Brown was talking to little red-headed girl at the bus and everyone else was gathered, the family sitting next to me decided that it would be a great time to beat the post-movie rush and get up and awkwardly walk in front of us in that slow, wobbly, trying not to fall over movie way, so I couldn't see what was happening.
Oh god,
and also I was completely broken out of the movie enchantment.
I hate that wobble.
During the climax, the emotional climax.
I just go as fast as I can. I don't care, because I know that people will care less that I fucking like bumped into them too hard than if I was like hovered my ass in front of them for 10 whole goddamn seconds. Just storm through there. No, it took forever
because the lady, and that was like the second time that lady did that. You know, she did it in the middle of the movie and then came back. And then it was like the whole family leaving. So it was like the mom and the dad and the kid. And they're like,
70 kids.
Do we have the purse? Do we have the thing? Do blah, blah, blah. Do we have to go back? The dad came back and was like, I need to make sure we didn't leave anything, to check the chairs. It was... I was so sad because I really wanted to feel something and I wasn't allowed to.
Well,
so this podcast is dedicated to those shit cretins. If we find you, we're going to kick you all in the butt.
Because they needed to go to the bathroom or whatever. I mean, I get it. You have a little kid. But
don't bring kids to the movies. Don't bring them anywhere. I don't want to see your gross kid.
It was the climax of not only the movie, but the entirety of the Peanuts.
Yeah.
55 years!
65.
And it just like Charlie Brown, it was spoiled for me by some stupidity.
Good grief.
I did come away from the movie feeling like Charlie Brown, but not in the good way I was supposed to feel. Ugh.
You got the secret Charlie Brown ending. You got the one that Schultz liked.
Yeah, I got the Schultz downer Charlie Brown ending.
Yeah.
Like, no, actually, none of this happened. It's a dream. Charlie Brown will never be happy.
Charlie Brown wakes up, Snoopy peed on the floor.
It was kind of interesting how Snoopy was always trying to help him throughout the whole film, because what I remember is that Snoopy kind of just did his own thing.
Yeah, Snoopy did not
most
give
of
a
the
fuck.
time. Like, he liked Charlie and everything, but he didn't, like, ever go out of his way to do anything for
Snoopy
him.
was just, like, his roommate.
Yeah.
Yeah, Snoopy was absolutely his roommate. I mean, he did fuck shit up for him, like, he ate all the cupcakes.
Yeah, I mean, he's still Snoopy.
Yeah. He's still kind of a dick.
But you know, he seemed to be there for Charlie for everything, and like honestly sad when like he had his disappointing moments and stuff. And normally Snoopy's not even like present for that.
Yeah, like I'm sure if Snoopy could talk, every reassuring thing he would ever say could be followed by, "Also, can I borrow like $20?" I got
And
you
bones.
though. I got you. You know I got you.
Just an unending stack of crunchy bones.
Gotta get my treats.
Now, Nino, you actually said that the movie wasn't doing that well. That's actually not true. It's doing pretty well. It's not like, it's not fucking tearing the world apart, but it opened second to James Bond and is, it hasn't made all of its money back yet, but almost, it's just got 9 million more to go.
I guess that's what I meant. Like, they were... Because that's how they judge these films. Like, if you don't make all your money back within, like, the opening weekend, it's like a failure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So...
If you only make slight profit, you're still a failure.
Yeah, I mean, they still haven't... They're at 99 million. No, they're at 90 million, and it costs 99 million. So, like, for a movie that came out on the 6th, and today is the 17th, that's kind of... I don't know.
It's not.
Yeah.
Especially for a kid's movie, like, usually this stuff just makes its money back in a minute, so it's kind of odd.
Well, I mean, but also it's a kids movie, so it'll make gangbusters on home release.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. I think that the way they measure that, if they're smart, is different for kids' movies.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. It's been very well received, except by, like, I'm reading some, like, these negative reviews, like, this guy's like, the animation steroids injected into the aesthetic here nonetheless shrivel to the great melancholy that's so key to the comic's endurance. It's called contrast, you dickless turd.
It's called colors.
It's called juxtaposition. He's a sad man in a beautiful world.
One guy just said, I never really liked the Peanuts, so I can't really say I like this movie. And it's like, why did they send you to review it?
God.
But whatever. I mean, I was just worried that it wasn't going to resonate with this modern audience, because, like...
No, everybody...
It doesn't seem like it's something that, like, people care about much anymore. Like, people don't, like, tune in to watch the specials every year. Like, there's just so many other things going on.
I think people forgot, and then they watch it again, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm miserable. Everyone's miserable?
Also,
always?
The franchise just doesn't have that much, like, life left in it, really. This is the first big thing in fucking forever.
Yeah.
Like after a whole bunch of, like, one-off, not very memorable specials and stuff, it's like, that's everybody just watches the Great Pumpkin and the Christmas one and maybe the Thanksgiving one.
I only watched the Thanksgiving one. It has some great peppermint patty stuff in it.
Oh yeah, no, that's why you watch that one. But I'm just
she's in that one far more than she is in the other two.
Yeah, it's about her.
I don't even think she's in the Christmas one.
I mean, she
probably calls him on the phone once.
I remember because she still wears sandals even though it's snow on the ground.
Yeah, she did that in this movie too, and I was like, Peppermint Patty, what? I love you, but you need to stop.
But yeah, like, I remember, because, like, in our family, we watch those specials every year, and when we missed them, we got kind of sad. We're like, aw.
Or if, like, the channel that aired them cut off that bit at the end where Snoopy had the whole turkey the whole damn time.
And then ate the pie, too, and, like, all that stuff. And then, like, then I remember, like, going to, like, high school and kids being like, oh, the fucking Charlie Brown shit again. And it's like...
I'm too cool for this.
And I'm like, no. And, you know, now that I'm in art school, everybody's just like, it's so badly made, and it's garbage, and the animation's bad.
What?
And I'm just like, I'm sad forever.
God, fuck art school.
I gotta tell you, like, sophomore
That's the worst thing I've ever heard in my life.
Sophomore art students really rub me the wrong way. Like, I have some that are my friends, and I try to just, like, Nina, they're your friends. They're your friends. It's not their fault. It's not their fault. They're sophomores.
Dude, throw me in a pit. Throw me in a pit with them. I'm the only one coming out.
Like, completely, God, why do I have to read and write this paper? I'm in an art school. Fuck. Don't they know I have other shit to do? And it's like, well, yeah, but also you're in college. If you expected to go to college and not read and write,
I went to art school because it's easy.
If you expected to not read hard stuff in college, then like I don't know where you come from. But like,
okay,
not that I don't respect your artistry and all the hard work you put into what you do. Like
I just don't respect you as a person.
No. Okay, hold on.
You just bug me.
We probably have people in art school listening to this. If you're there and you're getting your education and you're doing great and you're using every resource available to you to be a good artist and know your craft and do your thing and come out of it as a better creative person.
I understand. It's just my own pet peeve. It's just sometimes
don't be a tool about it.
Just don't be self-entitled about it.
But if you're in arts, because if you are a good person in art school, you're probably right there with us because the rest of the student body is garbage.
You have to understand that your position is a privilege, and most people, especially younger underclassmen, don't.
They don't
get that at all, and it's like
get it.
And it's like, yes, it's gonna cost all the money you will ever have, but at least you have this, you know. Not everybody gets to do it. Whatever. I'm sorry.
No, that. I feel like that was necessary because you said that there are art students that don't like a Charlie Brown Christmas, and I'm gonna fight them all.
I don't know. I mean, they just say that it's like, it's not. It's not impressive, but like,
that's not
the point. I don't know.
They're not impressive.
No, they're actually, some of them are really good artists. That's the thing that frustrates me. I'm like, oh no, actually, they got the chops. But they're just really stubborn about certain things, and it frustrates me.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've been talking about this for a long time. Great movie. See it while you can. I should still be in theaters through the end of the year.
Yeah, definitely.
Great and good.